Welcome into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. South Georgia, let's talk high school football. It's too late to turn around. We're already halfway there. 6 weeks in the books, 6 weeks lie ahead. Tonight, it's time for our mid-season progress report as teams dive into region play. The pads may be on, but the gloves are off. Week 7 kicks off tomorrow night, and tonight on Sports Talk, we take a look at which teams have a shot to contend for a state title, which new coaches are making an instant impact, and how we think the next 6 weeks will play out heading into the state playoffs. Strap up your seatbelt, and even if you don't, the ride is going to take off either way. Joining me tonight, right here in studio, John Barron. It's going to be the two of us. No guests, no trivia. We're just getting them ready. You ready to get started?
Of course, always. I mean, we're just giving them all the sports that we can for this one. And, I mean, we've had some great games these last couple of weeks. And I'll tell you what, I think we have a couple more coming up in these next couple of weeks. So I think everybody's excited because I always am. Game of the week always. So we've had some great matchups coming this week.
And matchups that are great lead to you possibly making that trip to the Benz. And every team's dream is to be at Mercedes-Benz Stadium December 7th or 8th for the GHSA State Championships. Now, throughout the show, we'll take a look at the progress of teams that have staked their claim actually as state title contenders. And we start with the undisputed best team in this Peach State, Colquitt County. Max Preps has them ranked 9th in the nation after falling in the 7A state title game last year. All they've done this season is start 6-0 with all double-digit wins. And did I mention their last 2 wins? Road victories at Warner Robins, 41-14, and then another one against nationally ranked Grayson, 26-14. John, you've seen them play up close and personal. Those Packers out of Moultrie, what do you think?
I mean, it's just nothing about it. I mean, they're just a great team, and you know what? Rush Probst has been doing a great job there, and so far he is the second most winningest coach there at Colquitt County, and he has 111 career wins there, and he's just a few behind, about 29 to be exact, right underneath Jim Hughes with 140. So he's got a little bit to go, but obviously he's going to get past that. And his Packers are just ruthless. I mean, we've seen it. I mean, there have been a couple of games where they've played some great teams like Valdosta. You know, it's been halftime games have been somewhat close, but they come back out. They're a second-half team for sure. They're a four-quarter team. If we're going to be completely honest, but they're a second-half team because they've just got the talent to go for other, to go depth-wise. So, you know, a lot of great teams that have some great players on their team. It's just they've got second-rounders and third-rounders to go with it.
That's right. Ty Leggett, Dejan Edwards, J.C. Hart. They got a stacked team on offense and defense. They're going to be taking on Alcovey. Rush Probst looking to add on to that record that you spoke of tomorrow night in the Hog Pen, so be on the lookout for that one. And you got another state title contender in 7A, right?
Yeah, definitely. It's, Lowndes has a profound offense, averaging 52 points per game. They're off to a 5-1 start. Their only loss coming on the road at Parkview. Now the Vikings are fresh off of a 71-35 destruction of Valdosta on the road. That was the largest win in Wintersville Classic history. Now, we're looking at Randy McPherson has brought them 7 region titles and 3 state titles. He's been doing a great job there, but the Vikings with Travis Tisdale this year have just been racking up the points on the offensive line, have been doing a great job creating some holes, as you just saw right there. I mean, he's doing his job, but everybody is over there. I mean, they're built for the chance to go back and try to claim what's rightfully theirs. You know, I mean, they're looking for a chance to go, back into the, back into the state title. But they fell in the second round last year, so they're definitely looking for redemption.
They're hungry, and it's tough to play in Martin Stadium. So a key for them is going to be trying to win the region, trying to beat Colquitt County so they can get home field as far as that coin flip will allow them. They host Ware County this weekend. Speaking of Martin Stadium, at the top 5. That's the top team in the classification of 5A, so that'll be a good one out in Valdosta. And then Lowndes does it on offense, but Lee County does it with the defense. The defending state champs at 6A are the undisputed best team in that class. They're ranked number 1 in every single ranking. The Trojans are 5-0. They've outscored opponents 214-16. They've only allowed 16 points through 5 games. Furthermore, the stingy defense is allowing just over 44 yards of offense per game. That's like less than a drive, and they've allowed negative 76 yards on the ground collectively all season. Dean Fabrizio has coached this defense up to be menacing. They're mean. They're stopping teams in the backfield at every chance, and the Trojans looking to try and repeat. Most people have them favored in 6A And, John, what do you think of the Lee
Yeah,
County
Dean
team?
Fabrizio has definitely brought glory to Lee County. You know, back in the past, people would maybe look past Lee County, but now they fear them. They look to not put them on their schedules. I mean, before last year, Lee County had never been past the 3rd round, and the Trojans won against, this year, 2 teams that have either won the state title or have been in the state championship. And he definitely told the team at the beginning of the year that we will play anyone, anywhere, at any time, and he's definitely been proving that.
It's worked out so far. Their last 3 wins, 33-0 over Peach County, a team that was in the state title game. 49-7 against American Sumter, a team that just won the region last year in 4A, in Region 1 4A, and then 50-0 over Southwest Macon, a team that has a decent enough squad that should be able to get on the board. Lee County, a great team. Now, the consensus number 2 team in Class 6A, that's Coffee High School, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The Trojans shut out Douglas, is undefeated through 6 games. Their defense has back-to-back shutouts and have only allowed 33 points. And, of course, they fell to Lee County in the title game last year. Coffee has its sights on returning to the final stage and finishing this season. But first, they have to make it there. The Lee and Coffee rematch is the last regular season game of the season, November 2nd in Douglas.
Everybody's waiting to see that. It'll obviously be the game of the week. Can't wait on that. Now, when new coaches get on the job, fan bases expect them to have a magic wand, wave it a little bit, and win a bunch of football games. It's not that easy. A dozen coaches had that task in South Georgia in 2018. Thus far, those coaches are collectively 26-33. Here's a quick progress report looking at some of the teams that have picked up new coaches. Ashley Henderson at Thomas County Central has the Yellow Jackets at 4-1. Larry Harold has American Sumter at 2-3. Damian Gary looking for the first win out there with Doherty so far. Alton Downs has Westover sitting at 2-3. Tim Alligood out in Nashville has Barron riding high at 4-1. We'll talk about them soon. And Frankie Carroll at Worth County, it was the interim actually, 1-4 out in Sylvester. I spoke on Barron. Now, not only has Barron have a new stadium, they got a new head football coach in Tim Alligood, and he's helping them pack that stadium out. The Rebels are off to their best start since 2009, sitting at 4-1. They've won a team of the week. They're fresh off a double-digit win at home. And for Barron, they haven't made it past the first round of the playoffs since the 90s. Could this be the year that they finally pull through, John?
I definitely think so. I remember going out there a little bit earlier and seeing that team and hearing what they've been doing, and he's been doing a great job, and he's definitely, I mean, the record shows 4-1, and definitely the first time since 2009 they've seen that. But another impressive team from this list is Thomas County Central. After winning a total of 3 games last year, they're already 4-1. Ashley Henderson, if you remember the name, yeah, he was a Valwood legend over there in the GISA. He won 3 state titles in this season, and Thomasville is looking strong on this one. Their lone loss was against Thomasville. The Jackets are on a 3-game streak and are on Worth County October 5th.
Well, we talked about some new coaches. We've talked about plenty of fun stuff. But after the break, we're not only going to have some more new coaches, but later in the show, we're going to talk about our favorite plays so far on the year. And I can't wait to get to that, so you should stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. I'm Theo, that's John Barron. And just like these coaches and players are going to do Friday night, we got up off our tails. We're ready to deliver them some good football. And I had to reach back and get this because we're talking football all night tonight, right?
Yeah, we are. It's nothing but high school football and some of the best. I mean, everybody knows it's Southwest Georgia football. Nothing like it.
Nothing like it. And we want to talk some more new coaches. We promise you that, so we're going to deliver right now. Ashley Harden started out at Stewart County his first year, and so far he has them at 2-3. He's possibly going to set a record for wins in the season. He has about 5 more shots to try and make it happen out in Stewart County. David Bell at Miller County has them at 2-2. Richard Andrews at Patala Charter, 0-5 so far, looking for the first win. Justin Henderson at Valwood, 4-1, the reigning state champs in the GISA. And Eric Soliday at Tifteria, 4-0, undefeated so far. And then Jimbo Hale at Westwood, 1-5 out in Camilla. Now, we spoke on Eric Soliday, who came from American Sumter. He just won that region championship with the Panthers and led them into the playoffs. Now he's looking to lead Tifteria, another Panthers squad, into the playoffs. And they are looking pretty good through 4 games, one might say. They're outscoring opponents 210-49. Their last couple of wins, I mean, they've scored 50 points in 3 straight games. Their last game that they played, they've scored 49. So you might as well say they've scored 50 points every game. Spence Massey is a dog This guy runs the ball with the best of them, and Tiff Terry looks good. What do you think of him?
Yeah, definitely. They've been definitely killing a lot of teams and with the defense when it comes to running the ball. They're just a force on the ground. But you know what? Eric Salday looking for the opportunity to give them an opportunity to get past the first round since 2008, and that was when they won their last region title. But you know what? He's got a great squad, and I think he's doing everything he can to improve that. But you know what? He's going to have an opportunity to have to choose that when they go against another team. It's Valwood.
That's another team with a new coach, right? And
yeah,
Justin
absolutely.
Henderson is at Valwood. You want to take this one?
Yeah,
Alex?
why not? You know what? Justin Henderson, if it sounds familiar, it is, because you know what? Ashley Henderson, that's his brother. He came in, stepped in as the assistant coach. Now he's the head coach. He's taken over the reins, and you know what? It looks like nothing's really changed. Right now, they're 4-1 so far, and the defending champs are looking to go back to the state championship and claim one again. But this time, Justin's going to look to claim one as the head coach. But they have been doing everything they can. They have won since 2011, won every region title since that year. And you know what? Valiants haven't missed the playoffs since 2008. And at the rate they're going, doesn't look like they're gonna.
Doesn't look like they're going to do it. And now we can take it back to the two of us, because this comes a fun part of the show. Let me put this ball. We're done playing. We're done playing. It's a fun part of the show. And this is where we talk about our favorite plays of the year. So far, there's still a chance for players to impress us going forward.
Absolutely.
But, John, what you got?
You know what? It has to be Travis Tisdale. This run in the Wintersville Classic, he took it 80 yards. The only reason this was so great, because it just looks like every run he's had pretty much, it was the first play on the first snap for Valwood. To the house, no questions asked, and he flies to the end zone. He had 400 yards of offense in that game and 6 touchdowns. And the Kentucky commit, just smooth running all the way in.
Yeah, he's really good at the sport they call football. Now, it's easy to go offense. I'm going defense. My favorite play of the year so far comes from September 7th at Centennial Stadium. It was Baconton hosting Seminole County. The Indians were knocking on the door of the goal line, and Zeke Dean recovers a fumble for Baconton. He's a running. He's a gunning. He turns 98 yards. That's 98, John. All the way for a touchdown. The Blazers would lose the game, but this play, I bet you it was a winner. Look at the cheerleaders.
Man, I'll tell you what, that was impressive. Did you see the way he watch right here? I mean, it just pops up out of nowhere. He's just like,
I need that.
You know what? I know what that is. I need to take it to our end zone.
I'll take it. Well, that was fun. We've got 3 more teams that are well on their way to the bins, plus much more here on Sports Talk. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. I'm Theo again, and this is John Barron, and I just love hanging out with you guys on Thursday nights and having the show. Of course, Friday Night Football kicks off tomorrow night. You'll be able to check out the Locker Room Report at 11. But right now, it's our time to just chat about some high school football. John is antsy. He can't wait to get to our first story. Right? You excited?
Seriously, as we promised, we have a few more state title contenders to get to, and one of those, Irwin County. You know what? Irwin County and Thomasville, this is Thomasville, popping out of here 4-1 so far, 3-0 at Veterans Memorial. And the Bulldogs' only loss was to Colquitt County. But guess what, guys? That young quarterback looking to do his job. And you know what? I'll tell you this something. Why don't you just go ahead and tell him you did a story on this guy?
Chad Masco, the freshman, starting at quarterback for Thomasville, has that offense rolling. They've been scoring points with the best of them. In Class AA, there's a lot of teams that are in contention. You got Hapeville, you got a lot of squads that are loaded, but this team out of South Georgia is one that has been hovering around the top 3 in many of the rankings all year, and the Bulldogs will have you know that they're up for anybody. They actually scheduled Colquitt County. That one blemish on their record was a loss at Colquitt County, 50-3. But again, that's 7A football versus AA football. I think for sure that Zach Graves can see his squad make it very deep in the playoffs.
And you know what? 3-0 at Veterans Memorial, that's an interesting little fact, because last year they were undefeated at home in the regular season before the playoffs. But you know what? They haven't had a state title since 1988, so they're looking for that chance to get back to it. But another team to look at. Who is it? It's Irwin County this time. You know what? They're looking to get back and get a little bit of redemption. They lost to Clinch County, but guess what? They had a little bit of payback. They took them down in the regular season game, but you know what? They've met up with Clinch County twice in the state championships, and both times Clinch County has come out victorious. But you know what? I was speaking to Buddy Nobles, and he says this is a different team. This team is hungry. They look for the opportunity to get back and take what is rightfully theirs.
Irwin County did take down Clinch County 21-3 at Clinch, but again, this means nothing to Buddy Nobles because he's waiting to see them do it in the playoffs. He loves the team he has. This team so far undefeated, but again, the 2 years that they went to the state title game and played clinch, they had beaten them in the regular season and lost to clinch in the state title game. So again, regular season games, though they matter a lot and you want to get the region wins, you also are looking forward, if you're Irwin County, you're expecting to get back to Mercedes-Benz Stadium and you're expecting to try and go for a win. And Buddy Nobles would love to have his first state title there and bring it there to Ocilla, first one in quite some time. Clinch County, we keep mentioning them. Well, they're also a contender in single A public.
Yeah,
don't forget about them. They've got Tresman Marshall, one of the most sought-after players, committed to Georgia, and they've got a lot of teams worried about going up against him. He's hard to take down, as you see this video of him. They're 4-1 so far, poised to return, outscoring opponents 140-63. And Homerville is not a nice place to play either.
No. And you know what? Jim Dickerson's been doing a great job there. He's brought them 4 state titles, 7 region titles. You know what? He's closing in on the record for the all-time wins as a coach. He has 143. He needs 7 to break it. Right now, Donald Tinson holds the record set in 1993. So, you know what? I think they've got the opportunity to do it. It'll be definitely a huge feat for him, but you know what? I think we've got a great opportunity to see something that's going to be history.
It's going to be history, of course. Single A public, a nice one to watch. We got plenty of teams competing in there. We had teams that we didn't mention that are going to be up in the mix. You got a Pelham team that wants to stake their claim. You got a Mitchell County team. So single A for South Georgia is a very impressive one. Now, we got some big games to talk about tomorrow night. One of them is in the GISA, as you see right there. A couple of them in GHSA. We want to give you a preview to Friday night. It's going to be big. You're going to want to watch the locker room report, but first, let us talk about it. Welcome back into Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. I'm Theo. That's John. If you've been watching, you've gotten a plethora of high school football coverage. Some of the stuff we think might happen going into the final 6 weeks of the season. We've already gotten through the first 6 weeks. Week 7 kicks off tomorrow night. I don't know what football game you'll be at, but every single week we give John Barron a chance to go to what we consider the game of the week. We take the game that has the most pivotal outcome, maybe 2 teams that are undefeated, maybe 2 fierce rivals. And before we get into what this week's is, because we're giving it to you a day early, we generally wait till Friday at 6.
For this one, yeah.
We're giving it to them a day early. But before we get into that, John, I just want to know, from your perspective, you know, me, I don't get to cover the game of the week anymore. I used to do it. From your perspective, being able to go out into the best environments every Friday night, how does that feel, man?
Honestly, I think the fact that we do this, where we talk about the game of the week, I think that it just makes people so excited to see that their team or whoever's representing their community, you know, they're doing such a great job that we're coming out there, we're making sure that we're giving them the best coverage. But it always ends up being a great game no matter what. Every time we go out there, the community's always psyched, it's always pumped up, and you know what, the game always ends up being a great one. So I'm always happy to be out there. I hope you guys are happy to be out there as well, and hope to see us.
Well, for this season, we're doing something new for Week 7. For the first time, the game of the week doesn't come from the Georgia High School Association, but from GISA. John, give the people what they want.
You know what? It's going to be Valwood versus Tift Area, the undefeated team versus the defending champs. Now, this one is going to feature both the brand new coaches. We're talking Eric Soliday and Justin Henderson. Both these two are going to square off, and you know what? It's going to be a great one. We're going to have the opportunity to see what both these great running teams will have to do against both these defenses. Now, I'll tell you what, Justin Henderson told me early that a big key for them will be stopping Spence Massey. He said last year that they had a big defensive game, and still Massey found a way to get over 200 yards on them. So it's going to be a hard time stopping him, but you know what? It's going to be a hard time stopping Valwood as well. They're coming into this, it's a new coach, but the same team and the same results. They're coming into this with a very experienced quarterback, but also a very experienced defense. Now, both of these teams, we're hoping to see a great turnout and a great chance to see some great football.
Get on out to Shula if you want to catch that one. John will be there with his camera getting some good highlights. If you see him, give him a shout, raise up your sign. He might put you on the locker room report. That would be cool. There's some other games tomorrow night, though, and we want to get a quick look at them before we send you off to have a good Thursday night. So big games tomorrow night. Al Covey will be at Colquitt County in the Hog Den, and we already know how it goes when a team visits Colquitt County. Generally, they leave limping. Ware County is going to be at Martin Stadium talking the Lowndes, playing a game where both teams have just one loss. Both teams are state title contenders in their respective class. Should be interesting. We got Beaufort, South Carolina, going to Death Valley to play Valdosta. This game was rescheduled from the 14th because of the hurricane. And then Thomasville's at Crisp County, two teams that have a lot of talent. We should see the ball getting thrown around there a lot. It should be a very fun night in Cordele. I'll be at the Cougar Den, so I will see you there. So give me a shout there as well. Cordele usually shows love. Thank you for joining us for Sports Talk with Theo Dorsey. We've had a lot of fun. Tomorrow night, the Locker Room Report, 11 o'clock. Be there. Don't be square. Good night.